Hello, hello. Not me shamelessly coming back 10 years later. Well, you know what? This time round, hata sita explain, hata sita sema nini because I know makosa ni yangu na nimekubali. I've been away for a very long time, and to be honest, wacha tu nisi explain because itakaa ni kama napeana two excuses hapa. So the reason why I am here today is because for those who've been following me on my socials, especially Instagram and Facebook, you know that there's a story I was giving about my experience with acquiring a nanny, a living nanny for that matter. And as I was giving the story, ikafika halfway, ikakataa upload the rest of the story, and watu wamebaki hanging. And every time I come across anyone who was following the story, they feel like strangling me. And on my end, I feel very bad because I didn't intend to leave you guys hanging. And so I've decided, because imekata Instagram, imekata, I have tried recording it, re-recording it and uploading, but imekata kabisa guys, like 3 times. And so I said, why not just come on here and give you the full story, even though I didn't intend to put it up on YouTube, but because of how ilinifanya, let me just put it here because I mean nobody knows even the girl I'm talking about, so ni sawa tu, sitakuwa na mwebisha toke nimeamua sasa hizo ni gani surely. Wow. Anyway, let me just jump straight into the story so that nimalizie tutokano tuishano, si ndio? Yeah. This is how it started. I'm giving it from the top. I'm pulling it up from the top because for the sake of those who've not followed the story from the beginning, so that everybody understands what we are talking about. So I started by inquiring on my Instagram and Facebook about where you guys get your nannies. Some recommended that I should go to bureaus. Others recommended that I should get a referral from maybe friends or family. And to be honest, every one of them had a valid reason on why I should or should not, get a nanny from wherever, from the bureaus, from referrals, and from everywhere else that they were recommending. But at the end of the day, the decision was up to us. And so when I sat down with my husband, we said that let's give it a shot. Because my mom-in-law is in Kisumu. Let's give it a shot. Let's try and get a nanny from her ushago and see how it goes. So akatutafutia nanny from also a referral, because I mean it's not like she was waiting to be asked about a nanny na kwena yeye hapo. I think she just made a few calls here and there, and luckily around that time there's someone who had inquired for a job for their girlfriend, I think. And so how you see how timely that was. So immediately tulisema we need a nanny from her. She remembered that there was someone who had inquired na akasema hana mtu anataka at that moment. But now that this opportunity came up, she reached out to this guy who was referring this girl. And so wakapangana hapa kule. They even went to my mom's. When I say mom, it's her I'm talking about, my mom-in-law. So when they went to our mom's place, wakaongea mambo mbili tatu, and mom said, what, let's give her a shot. Let's see how. I don't know her personally, but from the way I have worked with this guy, because she had worked with the guy who was referring the lady, from the way I've worked with this guy and how good he is at his job, let me just give the lady a benefit of doubt. Niwatumanishie muone. And before that, she actually took her time to interview her in her own ways. Akamuinterview, akaongea na yeye 1 2 3, and akasema, I mean from the way she was speaking and the way she was insisting that she's ready for this job, akasema let me just refer you. Na hivyo ndo ikakuwa, mi pia nikapiga call, tukaongea na huyo msichana and everything seemed okay, but there was just something. And at this moment, actually, I didn't see it as that serious. There was just something. There's a way when you talk to someone, you get to, know if they are really the one. And to be honest, at that moment when I was speaking with this lady on call, there was just something that was not sitting right with me. Now, I couldn't, point exactly what it was, but kuna kitu tu, and this is why I encourage everyone, please always follow your instincts. Always follow your instincts, because had I followed my instincts, all this would have been avoided. All this that came after would have been avoided. But since I decided to ignore, it went how it went. So I talked to the lady on call, akasema hata anajua kupika, anajua kuangalia mtoto. She had done that job before, and she was actually planning to come to Nairobi, except she didn't have fare. Underline that point because I will come back to it. She didn't have fare. So since this opportunity came up, she was more than ready to come to Nairobi and work. And so tuko like, the stars have aligned, so let's just get this girl akuje and start working for us. Now, around this time, guys, the reason why I was getting a nanny is because I got an opportunity where I work from 6 p.m. to around 3 a.m. Basically, I'm working at night. My husband is working during the day, but he comes back home very late in the evening because of work and school and everything. There's a lot going on in our lives, guys. And so before we got this nanny, we had to take Jelani to my mom's place. She's the one who was taking care of Jelani for like 3 weeks, imagine. And so it came to a time and we said, enough is enough. We just have to get a girl, and she has to come like immediately, because we cannot stay away from Jelani, because even Jelani was really missing us. He was always, video calling us and inquiring on, where we were and all that. Like, you could tell this boy was not okay. In as much as he was around people who love him as much, he still is, kuna tu ile mapenzi haezi pata from the grandparents and my siblings yenye anapata kutoka kwetu. And so we could see and we could tell that my son was not okay living there for that long. And not because my mom and my siblings were not taking care of him and my dad. It's just because I you know what I mean, guys. So you see why we actually needed a nanny right away. And so me, when hiyo kitu ilikuja, I didn't pay that much attention to everything. So I was like, this girl ametokelezea, let's just go with her, because there's no harm in trying. So sisi ni nani akasema hana fare, so tumanishie fare. Me personally, me nite tu mbaya. Personally, sijai get why you should send fare to someone to come to work. Honestly, muni explainie nielewe kama mtoto mdogo. I have never understood that part. Especially if they are being entitled. Kuna ile yenye from an honest point of view, you see, kusema tu kweli huyu hana uwezo ya kuja, let me just, sponsor. But kuna ile yenye ako entitled. Ile ya, na mtume fare sina fare. Like, it's like, it's a must. You and me, enjoy settled well na mimi. And so, kasema since, everyone around us anasema that's how they do it. They normally send fare. Kasema acha tu tutume. And so we didn't actually send fare. We got the ticket direct from Easy Coach. We actually got him one of the best transport, buses from Kisumu. We booked an Easy Coach for her and to come to me the e-ticket. And after that, I call her, I tell her that tumemtumanishia e-ticket, so we will be expecting her the following day. Because this was on Wednesday. On Thursday we were expecting, no, on Friday actually, we were expecting her on Friday. So, no, actually it was Thursday night. Okay, forgive my memory, guys. Forgive my memory. It happened quite a while, so I might miss a few things here and there. So muni samehe. And so we sent the e-ticket. I called the lady and told her, you've received this e-ticket. We will be expecting you. And she said she was good to go. And after that she goes ahead and tells me na fare ya kutoka home, like sina pesa ya kutoka kwa nyumba hadi kwa stage. And there I was like, we've already done our part, like we've actually done the bigger part. Can't you just at least look for, you know, some few coins to get you from your house to the stage? Like you're supposed to sponsor that as well. So mi nikauliza my husband akasema, you know, that's how people do it. And I was like, mi sitaingililia, ni sawa we tuma, but me I'm not for it at all. Akaendelea, he went ahead and sent him fare plus, you know, pocket money, akisikia njaa huko akikuja anaweza, you know, nunua kitu hapa kule, and which is fine because I mean a kindness goes a long way, ni sawa. And so that day comes, the lady does not even call me to tell me amepanda gari or something. So ni mimi ndo nilikuwa nafuatilia, yani ni mimi ndo nilikuwa nafuatilia. And so ikafika mahali, since me I was going to you know work, nikam hand over kwa my husband, no, in case akuje kama mimi niko job, he will know how to direct him to our house. Msichana akapanda gari na safari ikaanza. At least alipanda gari, si ati alikosa kupanda. And so from there now she was communicating with my husband. Akamwambia, since I work in Westlands, shukishua Westlands, ukifika Nairobi useme shukishua Westlands, so that now we will go with you to the house. Msichana akafika na akapitishwa akapelekwa hadi Tao CBD. And so again we had to get him a bolt bike from town to Westlands. Akaletwa and they came in the evening with my husband. Wakafika wakanipata niko job. At this time bado hatukuwa tumechukua Jelani was still at my mom's, so I mean there was no much going on. So when alifika, she just went straight into freshening up. I got a break and went, nikampea towel yake, nikamuonyesha the room and everything. So she went to freshen up. At that time my husband akafika, akaingia kitchen because I was a bit busy and I couldn't prepare dinner. So akaingia kitchen ku prepare dinner as I was continuing to work. Na akamaliza kupika, the lady akakula na akaenda kulala because I mean the journey was long na it's understandable. Akaingia bed, mimi nikatoka job for another break, nikakula na maisha ikaendelea na tukalala. The following day the lady woke up early na akaosha nyumba, nikapata huko ametoanisha mkeka, ametoanisha viti without, you know, me telling her. Na nikapata clean here and there, and I was like, hey, jackpot nini, you know, like she didn't. I honestly love people who tell themselves what to do as opposed to be directing them. I might give you guidance and there, but nikiona unajituma wewe mwenyewe bila mimi kukutuma, I feel so good. So at that morning nika feel poa when niliamka. Of course niliamka around 12 huko 1 because remember I sleep very late. So tukaendelea. I didn't even direct her on much because already alikuwa ashafanya the basic yenye ninge expect afanye. And tukaendelea tu hivyo, nikaendelea kumjua, kumuuliza maswali za kwenye ametoka, mtoto nini, like akasema kuna mtoto. Yeah, I just inquired the few things that I could inquire at that point. Na tukaendelea hivyo. That was on Friday. On Saturday tukaamka, akafanya the same thing, akafanya kazi. Sisi we were just chilling here with my husband as she was working, ukifanya, you know, her chores, kuosha nyumba na vyombo basically. Na tukaendelea hivyo. So I asked her what was happening on that Saturday. Aki guys, memory, I don't remember. Let me take a moment to remember and then I continue. Yeah, so I remembered. So this Saturday morning, as I was chilling here, I thought, since there's no much activity that day, let me rush to town, get a few things here and there, so that I prepare even as Jelani will be joining us, because we were to go for Jelani on that Sunday. And so nikaenda nikajitayarisha. My husband was also headed somewhere. I can't remember where he headed anywhere. I can't remember what he was doing. But me, nikasema let me just rush to town since I have an opportunity. I mean, hakuna kitu nafanya kwa nyumba. The house is clean. I have someone taking care of that. Let me just go. So me nikaenda town, and before leaving, I asked the lady, so I'm headed to town. Kuna kitu nahitaji nikuletea kutoka town because maybe kuna kitu ulisahau na naweza kugetia huko town. And she went ahead and told me maybe clothes. And at this moment I'm like, clothes? Like, you didn't carry clothes? Because I mean, she came with a bag, and it, to be honest, ilikuwa imefura. Like, you wouldn't think that bag imefura hivyo haina nguo. And so she tells me, oh, apart from ile nilikuja nayo jana na zenye nimevaa saa hii, nimebakisha tu longi moja na ni ragged na siwezi vaa ragged kwako. And I was like, okay. Mi sina pesa ya kukununulia nguo, because I mean, why would I get you clothes on your first day? So, and I didn't even have the finances to get her clothes. So I just thought that what I can do is that I will go into my wardrobe and see if there's anything I can get for you. At this point, there was no much hope because she was tall, like tall. And you know, in our house, we are, you know, short. So the best I could do was probably some maxi dresses or a dera. And that's what I actually got her immediately. Actually, I didn't even leave. I went into my wardrobe immediately, looked for some things that could fit her, na nikacha nimempatia. And so I went to town. I went, did my shopping. I was going for cosmetics shopping. Like, si hatuko kana mafuta, shower gel and nini. So as I was getting ours, I got hers as well. She didn't ask for them, but I had planned that, or rather us, we normally get it. Not normally, because we've not had many before. But I always intend to get it for my nanny, so that, I mean, personal hygiene is very important to us. And so nikasema, let me get her the necessary you know, hygiene products. Na nikaendelea na shughuli yangu, and then jioni when I came back, I gave her, and she was very happy. So she seemed. And myself, I was also happy to see her happy, and we were all happy. So we slept that night. Okay, before we slept, I asked her where she goes. I had asked her where she goes to church. Akasema anaendanga Catholic. Nikamuuliza, since we live opposite a Catholic church, will you go there ama tutaenda na wewe church yetu? Akasema, let me just go with you guys, nione kwenye nyinyi mnaendanga. And we carried her the following day when we went to church. Tukaenda, but tulimaliza, as we were not coming back to the house because we are planning for my friend's wedding. And so the committee was in my home place, around or near my home where Jelani is. So tulikuwa tuende, we go to that meeting, and then after the meeting, we go pick Jelani and come back home. So since we couldn't go with her, because angeenda wapi sasa, tuwezi enda na yeye meeting, I couldn't go leave her at my mom's. I mean, she was a new girl. And yeah, the best place, and she was new in Nairobi, so she said, so she said, so the only place angekuja ni home. We dropped her, hatukumpeleka kwa gate, tulimeka karibu na stage, tukamwambia, you see the way we came, it's just a few meters, so you find your way home. And she did. So si tukaenda, tukamaliza the day, and we came back with Jelani in the evening. When we came back, she hadn't slept, but she was almost headed to bed. And Jelani, by the time tunafika, was already asleep. So again, there was not much she could do at that evening, so we all went to sleep. The following morning, when my son woke up, or when we all woke up, my son was like, unaini nani? Which stranger is this? But my boy, and he has this way of, you know, starting and getting to know people. So unaona anakuja tu pole pole, anakuja na kuletea kitu, anaona vile una react, anakuja na kuuliza swali, anaona vile una react, hivyo. And so I could see my boy trying to, you know, understand or to know this lady. And hapa ndo nasemanga makosa ni yangu. I didn't do or give much introduction. I just told her, this is my boy, he's called Jelani, and he's this years old, blah blah blah, and yeah, he's the reason why you're here, so please kindly, everything else can wait, but make sure that he is well taken care of. Na akasema ni sawa. So that's where the journey started with Jelani. And on this day, I remember there's something I had gotten on Saturday, and I had to go back and do an exchange because I had only 3 days to do that. So it was Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And then I told my husband, well, what do you think? Is it wise of me to leave my son with a stranger? Because he was also headed to work. I said, I mean, whatever you're going to exchange ikae, because this is someone we don't know that much. Wezi mwachia mtoto tu from day one. And nikaona ina make sense, so I didn't go. So day one tulishinda huko na yeye akatupikia, alikuwa anapika food. She was cooking very good food. And so that day went by just like that. So in the evening, I went to work. And I could see she was not engaging my son. Like, she was not at all. She was always on her phone. She was always seated in the kitchen on a stool. And I told her, by the way, mi sikuulizi kukaa huko, mezani. And she was like, no, me, I just prefer, sitting here. So you can imagine mtu alikuwa anashinda kitchen. Anakaa huko, anakulia huko, everything. She was doing everything in the kitchen. If not in the kitchen, in the room. The same person who's supposed to take care of my boy, who enjoys, some playtime and everything. So my son alikuwa anashangaa, nani aliletwa huku, hataki kucheza, hataki kuongea, hataki anything, ako tu. And mind you, I had made sure to tell her that I love someone who engages my boy. I love someone who, involves him and takes care of him well. So the one nika observe, msichana has socialized, ha engage mtoto wangu. Na nikasema, you know what? Maybe it's because it's the first day and probably she's also, wanting where to come in. And I was like, it's understandable, let's wait and see. And as I was working, it got to a point, okay, my hubby came, and immediately he came. And mind you, he normally comes when he's very, very tired. Instead of her inquiring whether, she could go to sleep, aliacha tu mtoto na akaenda kulala. I mean, babake amefika, so kazi yake imeishia hapo. So she went to sleep. So ni my husband angangane na uchovu zake venye atashughulikia Jelani as I was working. So day one went by like that. Day two, nikaona deadline ya ile kitu nilikuwa naenda ku exchange itaisha. So I really had to rush to town on that Tuesday, go get an exchange of what I was getting and come back very fast. So before leaving on that Tuesday, and by the way, I was really contemplating on whether to go or not. I was contemplating on whether to leave my baby with this girl or not. There was just something that was not sitting well with me. But nikasema, you know what, I'm not going to stay for long, so let me just go, rush, mbio, before they know it, I will be back. And so before leaving, I asked her, naenda tao, kufanya kitu, na siendi kukawia, utaweza kubaki na Jelani? The lady, wow, this is where the other red flags now, the physical element or the actual red flags started showing. So namuuliza, and she tells me, I mean, si ndio kwani ama utaenda na yeye? And I'm like, why you being rude, girl? Why you being rude? And then on this other side, I'm like, ama ni mimi nimemuelewa vibaya. Labda it's just a language barrier. Labda tu, let me just ignore this, because I don't think she'd speak to me that way. I mean, she just came. Haizi ongea hivyo kwa mdosi wake. So I ignored that and I started telling her we need to go because Jelani was crying for me. He didn't want me to leave. Kasema, let's go together. Twende kwa shop. I get something ya kuzubaisha Jelani and then they come back to the house. And I see the lady is not even bothered. Like, I'm trying to tell her we are going and she's just there reluctant. And I ask her, kwani hatuendi? I'm like, oh, tunaenda na wewe? Oh, I thought tunaenda na mtoto peke yake. And I'm like, nilikuwa niende na mtoto nirudi na yeye ama, like, I don't understand. Mimi nikaendelea kusema I think it's just a language barrier, probably because Kiswahili is not, that popular in that place. Maybe ni mimi ndo atuelewani, so nika ignore. We went to the shop, went to my mama mboga, nikacha kikatakatiwa sukuma na nikawacha hapo na mtoto nikiwa nimembaia a pin pop which he loves very much, so at least hiyo iliweza kumzubaisha. And this lady ukimwangalia, she was not happy. She was just looking at me in a weird way. Ile ini kazi gani unanifanyisha? It's like it was a burden. It's like she was not supposed to do that job. I don't know if you guys would know what I mean. It's like me leaving Jelani to her it's like she was doing me a favor. It's like it was not her actual job. Yeah, mi nikaenda tu. I went, rushed to town, that's the fastest I've ever, finished my errands in town. Like within an hour I was done and I came back. And so when I came back, well, I found my son okay, but nauliza amekula, and she's like, no, hajakula bado, nimempatia tu ni yogurt. I think she had just given Jelani yogurt, and at this time it's around 2-3 p.m. thereabout, and I'm like, why isn't my son fed at this time? And at this time ndo ananiuliza, hey, tunapika nini? Oh, nini? And I'm like, ai, kwani huku naenda aje? Nikalenga tu. Me just went, prepared something for my baby, nikampatia akule. Na hiyo story nikalenga by the way. You see there, nilikuwa nalenga red flags. Like I was just ignoring these red flags here and there. And I was like, it's her first days. Let me give her, her time, learn. Let her learn ndo aanze sasa job vizuri. So Wednesday ikafika. Another day that I had to leave. Only that this time my husband was not going to work, so at least I was going to leave my baby with her when my husband is around. So at least that was a bit, assuring. And so that morning, my husband woke up very early to take our carpet to the car wash, and he carried Jelani along. And so by the time they came back, Jelani had slept for the day. He had taken a nap. And so when walirudi, he put Jelani to sleep and jumped straight into his work. And me, when I woke up, Jelani was asleep. So I went to prepare myself because I was going to do our house shopping. And at this time when I wake up, the lady is not around. And I'm wondering, hey, ama nikasema, probably she has gone to bask because she had already done her job. The house was clean, everything was okay. So I was like, maybe amepanda huko rooftop. You normally have a rooftop at a place where you can go and bask. So probably she had gone to bask. So I didn't pay much attention to that. So me, I prepared and went to do the shopping. I went for a while. I took time there. And by the time I was coming back, the lady was in the house. So nikafika with the first shopping that I came up with. Nikamwambia there were others nimeacha, kindly go and help me bring them up. So she went. At this time naona msichana bado anakaa ni kama ananifanyia favor. Like she was not happy. Ile yenye. And then she was giving me these fake smiles. Like I can't even illustrate. Like I can't demonstrate. She was just giving me some weird smiles. It's like mtu anakupangia lakini hasemi. So I was like, well, that's her personality. And actually my husband asked me, na msichana ananuna. And I was like, maybe she's like me. Me, I normally have a resting. Like when people look at me at first glances, they would think I'm mad, and I'm not. That's just my face. So I was saying, labda ako kama mimi. Maybe it's just her face. Maybe we are just judging her from her face, and she doesn't mean any harm. Oh, so we thought. So I come back, tell her to go get those things, and she goes and comes back and helps me unpacking and arranging. So I tell her, this goes there, this goes there, this goes there, and she does that. So pia hii siku again my baby was not fed, so it's me now knowing venye mtoto atakula. And to make it worse, saa hiyo ndo ananiuliza tunapika nini, and I'm like, you've been here the whole day, like you couldn't have even called me to, if you are not sure of what to cook, why didn't you call me to inquire? Why would you wait until I come back at around 3 p.m. ndo mtoto wangu hajakula, ndo nataka kuanza kupika ndo akule? I didn't get. Again, there was a lot going on in my life, so I was like, you know what, I won't let this add on to everything that I'm going on, so ni sawa. Yeah, and so as a matter of fact, I told her whatever she was going to cook, I make sure I pika mingi, because that would be our supper as well. And akapika. So as she was cooking, before chakula even nikaona mtoto wangu atakuwa ameisha na njaa sana, so I gave him some yogurt, just to help him wait for, you know, the food to cook. The evening went on like that. I, you know, got into work, nikaanza kazi around 6 p.m. And the same thing continued. Remember, hakuwa na engage Jelani. Like, she was not engaging Jelani at all. I was really mad about that, and I was like, sasa huyu anafanya nini huku? Everything else, kama ni kupika anapika poa, kama ni kuosha nyumba anafanya kazi poa. Everything else was going on except this part where she was behaving as if taking care of Jelani is not a priority. It's not like it's what brought her here, and it was not settling well with me. So I said, let me give her this week, niendelee kumobserve and see how she's going to, you know, improve on that. Nikaendelea tu kumpimia. Nikasema acha niendelee kumpimia. And so this evening, she, as she was taking care of my son, actually there's something I've forgotten. The previous morning, munisamehe, akili yangu imechanganyika, because I have a lot of things that I feel like saying about her, and the more I express myself, the more nakumbuka zingine zenye nimepitwa, so mnielewe. So the previous morning, I remember as I was asleep that morning, I overheard her shouting at Jelani. I overheard her. Nikasikia anakelelesha Jelani in the morning because my son normally uses potty. I think hakuwa anaikalia vizuri or something. There's just something that he was not doing as he was supposed to. So nikamsikia akimshautia. And I was like, mbona mtu anashautia Jelani hivyo? You know, kuna ile hakuna nina make sense, but yeah. I also ignored that. So me is Jewish dangu ilikuwa gani. I don't know. I was just giving her a benefit of that. I don't know whether it's because I saw like I needed her sana, and I didn't want her to go because of the way you guys are giving me story of how hard it is to get a nanny, and also my experience from, you know, before and all. And I was like, maybe this is something we can work on, so let's just wait. And then that morning, before leaving for shopping, I left her a paper full of rules, house rules, and I told her to go over them. And in case there's anything that she needs clarity on, it's okay, because I was gonna have a meeting with her and we were gonna talk about everything in depth. And so just to make her understand how I prefer things being run in this house. Yeah, so na kasoma, she didn't say anything, so I was like, cool, it's okay. But either way, I was gonna talk to her on Saturday, that coming Saturday. I was gonna have a sit down with her so that I tell her so this is what I've been observing, this is what you should, you know, work on, this is what you should stop doing, this is what you should continue doing, and blah blah blah. So this night, now sasa turudi kwa hii siku ya Wednesday. We are on Wednesday now. So this night, inafika masaa yake like around 9, she was just going to sleep. The moment Jelani amekuja kunisumbua in my room, you'd expect that she would come and, you know, like try to get Jelani off me, because Jelani was kind of distracting me from work. And especially because whatever I was doing, I was like in a virtual meeting where we are required to have our cameras on. So you can imagine how much that is, how much a struggle that is when you have a baby. So Jelani nadhani niko tu na video call na mabeshte, so he wants to come and try and join in the video, and I have my superiors, some supervisors on call, so it was just hectic. So I'm trying to get Jelani off of, you know, disturbing me, but yeah, hayuko huko. So round 1 nikamuita nikamwambia kujia Jelani because he's distracting me from work. Akamchukua, akakuja na yeye huku. Kidogo kidogo Jelani came back. Do you know that lady went to sleep? The moment Jelani came to my room and I saw like sija complain, she just went into her room and slept. And I was like, hey, that's weird. Like, you won't even care whether this guy is gonna disturb me or not. You just go to sleep. You won't even ask whether it's okay for you to go to sleep. You just go. And I was like, you know what? I'm not ready for drama this evening. Let her go. I tried putting Jelani to sleep, and luckily he slept. And so we were good. So, we slept. Me, I worked until around 4 a.m. thereabout. And I, you know, nikaingia kwa bed. Normally, nikiingia kwa bed, I sleep like for around 1 or 2 hours, and there my husband anatoka yeye akijitayarisha kwenda job. So that morning, around 5 a.m., you see, I slept at 4 a.m. So like 1 hour into my sleep, my hubby wakes me up, and he's like, Ebu, wake up and go, Ebu, come and see. Nashanga, come and see what? Tumeoshwa, like, kwani amepata nyumba vitu zimeenda kabisa, kwani kuna mtu alikuja akaiba vitu zetu na akaenda nyumba iko empty or what? So the first thing I did was to check on my son, and I saw my baby is okay. In fact, tulikuwa tumeko sleep na yeye, so he's there, and I'm like, what is happening? So I wake up and I ask my husband, what's up? Why are you calling me like that, and why are you waking me up this morning and I've just slept? Then he's like, hey, Soja amenipigia and he's telling me your girl is leaving. So Ebu, go around checking whether there's anything of yours that is not there. So I go to the ladies' room, I check, you know, to see if Kenyan naambiwa ni ukweli, and I, true to my husband's words, her belongings were not there. And I was like, God, the stories that I've been hearing, I thought I was immune to this. I thought this couldn't happen to us. It has finally happened to us, and I was like, hey, kumbe pia sisi tunaweza fanywa kitu kama hii. And so it hit me at that moment that last night, you remember the jeans that she said she had come with, the ragged one, yenye alikuwa amesema she can't wear because she's in my house. That previous evening, that's what she wore. And so I was like, maybe the rest of the clothes are dirty, that's why she has decided to wear these ragged jeans. Kumbe she was sleeping ready. Like, yeah, alikuwa anataka alale akiwa ready. Her sandals, the ones that she was moving out of the house with, I noticed this time around she was not putting them where we normally put our outside shoes. Alikuwa ameziweka bado kwa hiyo room. Like, akitoka nayo nje akimalizana anarudi anaweka kwa hiyo room. Na nikasema nitamuuliza, and then it skipped my mind. So now this morning is when it's, you know, coming back to me, and I'm like, so this is why she was doing this. This is why. Then I remembered yesterday when I came back, her hair was made. Like, alikuwa ameenda salon na karudi na nywele iko sawa. So this is what she was preparing herself for. So her hair was intact. When she, you know, showered, she put on her, you know, good clothes. And I didn't notice, like, at that time, I didn't even think any much about that. And so this morning is when it was hitting me, oh crap, this is what was happening. She was actually preparing to leave. We couldn't pick the signals. So this is why she didn't even care to tell me she was going to sleep. This is why, yeye hakuwa tu anajali. Alikuwa tu in her small and in her own world. And so at this time, I'm picking the keys to go and see whether I can catch up on her or something and know what is happening. So my husband tells me not to worry. The soldier didn't let her leave. He was holding her at the gate. So me, I went downstairs, left my husband checking whether all our electronics were there, our phones and everything, our laptops, kila kitu, to see whether they were still there. So me, I rushed down the stairs. I go find her there at the parking with the soldier, and I ask her, what's happening? Why are you leaving my house at 5 a.m. without telling me? Like, nini mbaya? And you know very well, kwanza, we are very busy and we actually needed your help. Why are you leaving without telling us? And your parents, your you know, boyfriend, my mom-in-law entrusted you to us. So what were we gonna tell them? Tukipata hauyuko na haukusema ukienda. Like, what is this? So the lady ako hapo amenyamaza. I ask her again, nini mbaya? Kuna kitu nimekukosea? Kuna mtu amekukosea? She's just keeping quiet. So the soldier is coming, ananisaidia pia yeye kuuliza, madam ni nini na ungeenda huko kitu ikufanyikie sasa. Sasa ni 5 am, unaenda wapi saa hii saa 11 kama hujasema nini nini. So we are there trying to interrogate and understand her, you know, whatever is making her leave my house at 5 am. And the lady was just there keeping quiet and giving, you know, crocodile tears. At this point, I just got tired. And then finally nikamwambia, sasa mimi yeye ni mtu mkubwa, mimi ni mtu mkubwa, it's time she speaks. So she's like, hata nikikwambia uwezi elewa, you know, giving her crocodile tears. And I'm like, why would you say that? Kwani mimi ni mtoto? See, whatever you say I can understand. Ama have you tried telling me nikakosa kuelewa? Nasema, you know, nimepigiwa simu, mtoto wangu ni mgonjwa and I need to rush home. And I'm like, I'm a mom, you're a mom. Why wouldn't I understand that mtoto wako ni mgonjwa unafaa kwenda kumuona? Why would I hold you from doing that? Kasema, oh, unajua amekuwa mgonjwa na siku anataka kukusumbua. Oh, sijui nini. Nikamwambia haya yote sikatai. Ni sawa basi, ni mgonjwa. Why are you leaving my house without telling me? And for that matter at 5 am in the morning without telling me. So there she kept quiet and continued with her crocodile tears. So at that point my husband comes down. Akatujoin pia anaanza kumuuliza what's happening. So we try interrogate her. She's just keeping quiet. So finally akafungua mdomo akasema, "Nizoongea na Ronnie peke yake." She now wanted to talk to my husband peke yake without me. And at this moment I just felt like landing on her. You know, like a cat or like a lion or whatever. I felt, I don't know, I can't explain how I felt at that point. The disrespect. So now she doesn't want to speak to me. She wants to speak to my husband alone. And I said, you know what? Before I jump the hell on her, let me leave. Let me just go, calm down, and then come back. So after I didn't go up, I just went outside the gate. I started counting the stars or whatever, just to calm down. And then I cooled down for like a few minutes too, and then I came back. So I came back and asked my husband mahali wamefika. Then he tells me, so this girl is saying, ati yo, tangu akuje, you've not, you know, showed her around, you've not directed her on what she should do. Ati amekuwa akiona hapo masabuni mingi, hajui hata kuzitumia, hujaimuonyesha na yeye hawana vitu kama hizo kwao. Oh, you've not been doing what? And I'm like, at this moment I'm like, ni sawa sijakuonyesha, but is this reason enough to still leave my house at 5 am? Like, make it make sense, please. So akasema, oh, you gave me some written rules. Why would you give me written rules? You just tell me what I should do or not, what not to do. Why are you writing the rules? You shouldn't give me rules on paper. You should tell me instead. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And at this point, bado anaendelea kulia. And this girl is big. Like, she was big. And at this point, I didn't know whether nikucheka, nikulia, nitalia, ama nikumchapa, nitamchapa. Because I was not getting. So my husband, you see, when she was being left with my husband, she thought my husband was gonna, you know, tetea her or something. So my husband pia yeza akakuwa ule mbaya sasa. And so she saw hakuna mtu ako pande yake. She thought that she was gonna have my husband on her side and na mimi nikuwe kivyangu. That's where she got it all wrong. Because whatever she was doing, irregardless of my faults, irregardless of whatever we had done wrong to her, her leaving our house at 5 am in the morning without telling us was so disrespectful, and there's nothing that could explain that, no matter what we had done. So we are calling my mom-in-law. My mom-in-law wants to talk to her. She's not talking on call. My mom-in-law calls the boyfriend who referred her. The boyfriend calls her. She's refusing to pick, so we tell her to pick that call or else kitamramba. So she picks it, anajaribu kuulizwa ni nini mbaya. She was speaking na hiyo lugha yao Kijaka, and I couldn't understand what we were talking about. But at the end of the day, there's no way this girl was going to go back to our house. So at this point, I felt like asking her for the transport. So this is when it hit me. You remember she said she was planning to come to Nairobi but hakuwa na fare. This is when it hits me. This girl had said hakuwa na fare. And so all she wanted was a means to come to Nairobi. And guess who are the sponsors? Yeah, They are galas. We were the sponsors for someone to leave Ushago and come to Nairobi. And so when she got to Nairobi, si alikuwa ameachieve kenye alikuwa anataka. Why were we holding her here? Because at this point I'm asking her, so what do you want us to do from here? Niache tu niende. Tukuache uende wapi? Ulisema hujai kuja Nairobi. This is your first time in Nairobi. Where are you going? She's keeping quiet. Guys, I can't even explain what or how I was feeling at this point. Like, I felt so mad. I felt like asking for my money, for our transport money, because it was a lot. I felt like strangling her. I felt like, I don't know what I was feeling. Nakwambia tu kama si wokovu. Kama si kushikilia imani. Hey, kuna mtu ningeshikilia hiyo siku. Kuna mtu ningeshikilia hiyo siku. Na so we talked with my husband, and we were asking each other what's the best way to deal with this. And we agreed to just let her go wherever she was going. And at this point, nothing could have convinced me that she was not going to her boyfriend. Why? Because during the evenings, I noticed she was just on video calls with her man, with a certain man. And it's not the other boyfriend who referred her, mind you. It's a different person. And so it hit me, labda ameenda kwake, because they've been video calling and having, I know, a good time when my baby is just here, kiboeka. Nika connect dots to, like, she was just using us to come to Nairobi so that she goes to her boyfriend so that she can live happily ever after. And I was wondering, when your boyfriend yake hange sponsor or something, like, why would she do this? And yeah, that's how it went. So the lady left to catch her matahani. So my husband is there. He doesn't know what to do. So that day he didn't even go to work, because I mean, remember in the evening, nikianza to work at 6 p.m. my baby doesn't have anyone to stay with. So he had to sacrifice on that day and Friday as we were looking for a way forward to get another nanny. And it went on for like a week. Tulikaa bila nanny for like a week, and we saw, oh, it's not even that bad. We can survive. Though it was taking a toll on us, especially him, because imagine after a long day at work, you still have school, and then you come back home to take care of a baby who's not sleeping. My son is energetic. My God, he's very energetic. In fact, kwanza usiku unaweza dhani ndo ameamka. So you can imagine matching that energy when you're very exhausted. It was not easy. And during that week, I interviewed like 3 ladies. Kila mtu alikuwa na mashida zake. Mara mmoja anasema anaongea vibaya kwa simu, mara mwingine ako hapa anaongea na mama yake akiwa hapo, and she's like, oh, like the mom was directing her. So I'm asking her, kwani ukuji? And she's like, ujatuma fare sijui nini, and she's just here like a few meters from where we live. And guys, it's a lot. Let me just not go into the details of whatever nini, but here's the good part. God of restoration. God of restoration. No, God of restoration. God restored in a very big way. I finally ended up asking for a referral from a friend, not a friend, like where I was living, my neighbor's nanny was my friend, like we used to talk. So I asked her to give me someone who probably was like her or even better, because she was a very good nanny. Imagine she has lived with that family for now like 3 years, and she has not yet left that place. She was very good at her job, and so I really coveted having someone like her or even better. And God of restoration, Ali Restore. I don't want to talk too soon, but I mean, you stayed for like say 2 weeks now. Okay, we are going into the 2nd week right now. And let me tell you, this girl is just amazing. Ushaipata package yote tu. Yani hata there's nothing, hakuna makosa naweza mtoa. Personal hygiene, check. House chores, check. My son, they bonded with my son from the first day. Like the day she was coming for an interview, like they bonded. It's like you would have thought that amekuwa na Jelani all her life. Like it was so amazing, and I was so happy. We were so happy. We were like going away with my husband to Nagikon. Pamoja tuko like, God has finally done it. We have finally found the one. We have finally found the one. The trauma bado iko because yesterday was Sunday, and so we left her in the house, and she was going to leave because it was her off day. So alikuwa anaenda kutengenezwa nywele, And so when he came back from church, my husband asked me, bado angalia kama vitu zake ziko bado, labda hata yeye ameenda. And I totally understood him, because hata mimi I was just going right there straight nione kama bado vitu zake ziko ama alitutoka pia yeye. So we are still recovering from that trauma ya kutokwa. She's very good at her work. And on the first day she told us hata hataki kuambiwa. She's just doing everything to perfection. She's cooking good food, she's taking care of my baby well, she's doing the house chores well. She's just good. She's so good, and I'm thanking God for finally giving us the one. And so you out there who's looking for a nanny maid, all I can say is that you just continue praying and God will direct the one to you. Maybe I'm speaking too soon, I don't know, but mi mahali imefika, I can say that God has restored and he can do the same for you. And remember that God is the one who takes care of our children. Like, you may have the best nanny, you may even take care of your baby for yourself, and still something bad ends up happening. So ni Mungu tu ndo anatuangalilia hawa watoto. All you can do is ask from God in faith that he would give you someone who actually fits or matches your ideal nanny or ideal employee in whatever capacity, and all will be well, because haya ni mambo ya Mungu, haya mambo ya God. So it was nice talking to you. I'm sorry for keeping you waiting with the story. There it goes. That's how it ended. If it was not as cute as you expected, pole sana. If you've learned something from it, well and good. And yeah, see you in the next video. So bye bye.